consciousness movement across the world. Now, Prabhupada went to the Western countries, other American country, in the year 1965, in September. So with him, he had only carried Srimad Bhagavatam. And Bhagavatam is quite a book. It's a literature which requires very deep study. So that was the only books which Prabhupada was carrying with him. But after he went to America, he started writing Bhagavad Gita's commentary, which already had begun in India, but he continued. And very soon he published Bhagavad Gita. And because he knew Bhagavatam is something which requires some basic understanding of some concepts given in Bhagavad Gita. And during that time, when Prabhupada was has begun the movement and he was lecturing, he also gave one more small book known as Krishna Consciousness, the Matchless Gift. A very small book. You are now available in any of the Hare Krishna movement centers or ISKCON centers, where you can ask for that. It's a very small book having wonderful introduction about what is Krishna consciousness, right? So this particular session we're going to have, this and the preceding next session, is going to be on one of the chapters in this book, Krishna Consciousness, the Matchless Gift, right? So let's begin. The first point Prabhupada is going to tell us is that we are all part and parcel of Krishna. The purpose of this Krishna consciousness, Hare Krishna movement, is to bring man back to his original consciousness, which is Krishna consciousness, clear consciousness. So first of all, you have to understand what is consciousness. Consciousness is the symptom of the soul. We are all living entities. And because we are living, we are conscious. Right? I'm aware of heat, cold, pain, happiness, right? All the sensations I'm able to have this awareness. Why? Because I am conscious. Very clearly in the Bhagavad Gita it is mentioned, Krishna mentions, that consciousness is a symptom of the soul. But right now our consciousness is contaminated or polluted, because of which we are identifying ourselves with this body or with so many things around us, with particular set of people as our family, as particular tract of land as our place of action. Like this, our identification is multifarious. So this consciousness, which is actually a symptom of the soul, is manifesting as different identifications presently. But our original consciousness is Krishna consciousness. We'll get more insight into this as we move forward. So Prabhupada says the purpose of Krishna consciousness movement or Hare Krishna movement is to bring man back to his original consciousness, which is Krishna consciousness, clear consciousness. When water falls from the clouds, it is uncontaminated, like distilled water. We all know when rainwater is very pure. But as soon as it touches the ground, it becomes muddy and discolored. So Prabhupada is taking the analogy of how our consciousness is actually Krishna conscious. Krishna conscious means pure consciousness of serving Krishna, God. That consciousness has become polluted now, contaminated now. How? Just like the rainwater, when it falls from the sky, it is very pure, distilled water. As soon as it touches the ground, it becomes muddy. Similarly, we are originally pure spirit soul, part and parcel of Krishna, and therefore our original constitutional position is as pure as God's. A very important revelation Prabhupada is making. Just like all of us are pure spirit souls, right? Spirit soul identification is we are part and parcel of Krishna as per Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, we are as good as Krishna in terms of quality. The first aphorism in the Vedanta Sutra is Athato Brahma Jigyasa. It's a Vedic statement. Now, in the human form of life, one should inquire about Brahman, the absolute truth. So, Prabhupada's way of presentation of the scriptural understanding is very systematic and very simple. Right? The Krishna consciousness movement, anybody asks, what is the purpose? Purpose is to revive our original consciousness. Right now, what is the problem with our consciousness? Right now, it is having some other type of a colored consciousness. It's like when you say, I am sick, I am diseased, which means you have to come back to your normal health, for which you go to a physician, you take proper direction from the physician, medicine, diet, etc., etc. And then you want to come back to your normal position. Likewise, Prabhupada says this our condition right now is diseased. Diseased in the sense that we are repeatedly taking different bodies and we are dying, taking birth. So this is a diseased condition. It's an abnormal condition for us. Our normal condition is deathlessness. Sanatana. Satchidananda means it is eternal, full of knowledge and blissful situation. But contrary to that, our situation is right now, it is temporary, ignorant, and full of miseries. This is the understanding which Prabhupada is trying to tell us. So once we have got this human form of life, it is our responsibility to ask these questions. What is happening with me? Or what is this life all about? What is the purpose of life? It is called Athato Brahma Jignasa. The Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Mamayavamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatanaha Mara Sashthan Indriyani Prakriti Sthani Kashrati. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. A very wonderful statement Prabhupada Krishna is making, that what is our actual constitution or what is our actual identification? We are all belonging to Krishna. Right? We all actually are part and parcel of Krishna, very intimately connected with Krishna. But right now, we are struggling with our six senses, which include the mind in the material world. We belong to Krishna, but right now we are struggling. That is our actual identity as of now. So Prabhupada gives a wonderful analogies further to make us understand what is this meaning of part and parcel of Krishna. We are qualitatively as good as Krishna. Thus, all living entities are part and parcel of Krishna. We just now understood. It should always be remembered that when we speak of Krishna, we are speaking of God. Krishna is not an ordinary person like us. He is supreme personality of Godhead, or is God. God means all powerful, all controlling, all loving. He has all the things in its in extreme situations, in extreme in highest order. That is what God means. Because the name Krishna denotes the all-attractive supreme personality of Godhead. The Sanskrit word Krishna means all-attractive. As a fragment of gold is qualitatively the same as gold as a gold reservoir. So the minute particles of Krishna's body are therefore qualitatively as good as Krishna. It's a very beautiful analogy which Prabhupada often gives. Particles of gold in a gold mine. Right? They're all gold only, qualitatively. Right? So minute particles of Krishna's body, Krishna is saying we are all amsha, we are all minute particles of Krishna's body. Therefore, qualitatively we are same. One more classic example Prabhupada gives about the ocean water and a drop of water. The drop of water also has the same chemical composition as the ocean water. right? But ocean water's size is huge. Drop of water is minute, minuscule. So like this, these are very wonderful analogies to make us understand our situation. We are very minute, minuscule. Prabhupada uses the word infinite, infinitesimal. Krishna is infinite and we are infinitesimal, right? Very wonderful usage of, words by Prabhupada. The chemical composition of God's body and the eternal spiritual body of the living entity is the same, spiritual. So Prabhupada is going to tell us that, yes, we are all part and parcel of Krishna. Our constitution or our actual situation of our existence is spiritual. Just like God has eternal spiritual body, we also have spiritual existence. Because originally, in our uncontaminated condition, we possessed a form as good as God's. Just see. Very wonderful revelation. Uncontaminated condition, which means right now it is contaminated. In a pure state, our form was as good as God's. Just like we see in Krishna Lila. There are many Gopalakas and then Gopis, all of them, and even every entity in Vrindavan, tree, bird, animals, all are as good as Krishna. Meaning they are spiritually same. They are all having spiritual bodies. But as rain falls to the ground, so we come in contact with this material world, which is manipulated by the external energy or material nature. Right? Prabhupada is going to introduce one more concept of material nature. Right? Raindrop is very pure. When it comes and touches this ground, or it contacts this ground, it becomes muddy. Likewise, we in the spiritual world are all pure, uncontaminated, always engaged in Krishna's service. But when we came in contact with the material world is conducted by the material nature called Maya energy of Krishna, external energy of Krishna. Prabhupada says, which is manipulated by external energy of Krishna. We are in a different domain. Right? It's like, when you're moving from, say, hot zone to cold zone. Say, during summers, we have experienced this. Outside weather is too hot, and we enter into a room, air-conditioned room. Immediately you feel, oh, it is very pleasant. Likewise, from spiritual world, which is actually our situation, we have fallen into this material world. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna uses the word Kshara Akshara. Kshara means what is fallen now, which is now we are fallen. We come into this material world. We have forgotten our situation of eternality. And Akshara means which is never falling. We always situate ourselves in the spiritual position. So, why did we come into contact? First of all, is the question. For which Prabhupada explains elsewhere, because we desired it. Krishna also gives in Bhagavad Gita understanding. Why did we come into the material world? Because we desired Ichha Dvesha Samuthena Dvandva Mohena Bharata. It's like any citizen of a country or a place of a locality. He desires to do something wrong. And what happens? He'll be confined within a prison. So likewise, when we desire to imitate Krishna, wanted to become Krishna, then Krishna told us, this is not the place for you in the spiritual world, you go to the material world. Very, very wonderful understanding Krishna Prabhupada gives. So we contacted material nature. Material nature is trying to influence her, energies on us. And what is this material nature and how she is acting is what Prabhupada is going to explain now. Material nature is acting on Krishna's order, actually. When we speak of external energy or material nature, the questions may be raised. whose energy, whose nature. Uh, all the atmosphere around us and all the different various manifestations we are seeing is all called material nature. Material nature is one of the energies of Krishna. Just like this world is called material world. Material means matter. It is controlled by one personality by name by name Durga, Maya, she is called. And there's one more world which Krishna gives a hint in the spirit in the Bhagavad Gita. It is known as spiritual world, which is conducted by spiritual energy. Very important. Spiritual world, spiritual energy, material world, material energy, material nature. So these two wonderful understandings is given in the Bhagavad Gita by Krishna. Right now we're in the material world. Right? In the material, under the control of material nature. Okay. So the question should be, whose energy, whose nature? If this is a nature, is it independent? Or somebody is controlling this nature? These are the questions we should have. External energy, what is external energy? Material energy or nature is not active independently. Such a concept is foolish. Now, Prabhupada immediately makes a statement that yes, material nature may look like it is independent, but it is not independent. Just like we say, when there are seasons changing, we say it is nature. Automatically things are happening. It was rainy season, then winter has started. After winter, you have spring, and again summer. Like this, it's automatically happening. Or somebody may say, from this rose plant, every day automatically flower comes. A nice flower, rose flower comes. So material nature is automatic by nature, you may say. Just like we study in our science, the laws of gravitation, right? Already, there are some set laws going on. Nature's laws are going on. When we say some laws are discovered, Newton's laws of motion, they're discovered, right? They were all existing already, but it was identified and discovered. Or this one type of phenomena happening in the material world. So here, the important point which Prabhupada is trying to make us understand is, material nature may look like it is working independent. Automatically things are happening. A simple example Prabhupada gives is, in our childhood, we have seen aeroplane going. See, oh, aeroplane is going very nicely, wonderfully. And used to give Tata, aeroplane Tata. In our childhood innocence, we may think that, oh, it's flying automatically. But in the aeroplane, as we have grown into mature adults, we know, oh, there is a pilot operating the whole machine. Without pilot operating, the plane will not move. Right? Similarly, this material nature is conducting herself, not independently, rather she is working under somebody's order. Under whose order or whose control she is? Prabhupada explains further. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly stated that material nature does not work independently. See, these are the subject matters of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is discussing about who are we, Jiva, and this material world, material nature, Krishna explains. Prakriti, and this is the word, Krishna uses the word. Jiva, Prakriti, then Ishvara. Both Jiva and Prakriti are under the control of Ishvara. And there is one more influence of energy called Kala, time. Right? This Jiva and Prakriti are under the influence of time. That is again, Krishna says, I am that time. And interaction of this Jiva with the Prakriti under the influence of time is creating karma. These are the 5 topics discussed in Bhagavad Gita. Jiva, Prakriti, Ishvara, Kala, and Karma. Very wonderful aspects, because these are the things which we are surrounded by. We have begun our session at 9:30 today which means there's a time. Who is controlling this time? Who is managing this time? Right? All these aspects we have to have some contemplation on such things. So here in the Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly stated that material nature does not work independently, as she is under the control of Krishna. When a foolish man sees a machine, he may think that it is working automatically. I'll give the example of a child seeing the aeroplane. But actually it is not. There's a driver, someone in control. Although we sometimes cannot see the controller behind the machine due to our defective vision. Right? Because of our ignorance, because of our lack of understanding, we cannot see the controller behind. Prabhupada gives some more personal example. When we were all children, Prabhupada used to say that we used to have gramophone, gramophone, big, that speaker, sort of like a old version. So Prabhupada used to think that inside that gramophone there is a person sitting and he's singing. But actually there is a mechanism of that gramophone wherein there's a record put and that it is, that sound is amplified and coming out. But Prabhupada says in my childhood days, I should think there is a person sitting inside that machine, gramophone, and that is causing sound. So it is all because of lack of understanding due to defective vision. There are many electronic mechanisms which work very wonderfully, but behind these intricate systems is a scientist who pushes the button. Very interesting, right? So a lot of electronic gadgets we are using right now, mobile or computers or up-to-date gadgets, whatever you're using. All this behind these intricate systems, Prabhupada says, there is a person who is pushing the button. We as entities, spirit souls, we are pushing the button. This is very simple to understand. Since the machine is matter, it cannot work on its own accord, but must work under spiritual direction. The mobile, whatever time you keep it as it is, it will not even move an inch, or it will not even open up unless you press the buttons, you start operating, only then it will start working. That's the point. Prabhupada gives example, a tape recorder works, but it works according to the plans and under the direction of a living entity, the human being. Right? Any gadget, what we use, will function as per our requirement, not that it will function on its own. No. It's completely under the control of the operator. The machine is complete, but unless it is manipulated by spirit soul, it cannot work. Very important concept to understand how this material nature is working. The arrangement of the material nature is all perfect. Right? But material nature will work only under the direction of Krishna. It's like you have an up-to-date, latest, high speed or supercomputer. The supercomputer will not operate unless there is an operator or a technician who is operating that machine. Right? Likewise, Prabhupada says, any machine requires spiritual touch. A spirit soul has to manipulate it. Similarly, we should understand that this cosmic manifestation, which we call nature, is a great machine, and that behind this machine, there is God, Krishna. Very logically, Prabhupada is trying to come to the conclusion and make us understand this concept. So this is also affirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. So whenever Prabhupada used to speak, he used to give ample Vedic evidences. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Maya dhyakshena prakritihi suyate sacharacharam hetunanena kaundeya jagad viparivartate. Krishna says, the material nature is working under my direction, O son of Kunti. Maya dhyakshena prakriti. Under Krishna's direction, this material nature is working. Prakriti means material nature. And it is producing all moving and unmoving beings. By it means all of us, see, some living entities are moving, like we, humans, animals. And there are some entities which are stand still, like plants. They cannot move. Right? So all producing, all moving and unmoving beings is under the direction of Krishna. By its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. So it is all working in a very systematic manner under the direction of Krishna, as what Krishna says. He is the supreme director. So Prabhupada now goes on to explain the aim of Hare Krishna movement. So Krishna says that this material nature is acting under his direction. Very clear. Just now we understood. Thus, behind everything, there is a supreme controller. The controller may be not visible immediately to our eyes, but there is a controller. Modern civilization does not understand this due to lack of knowledge. For want of sufficient understanding, proper understanding, modern civilization is not able to see things factually. It is the purpose of the Society of Krishna Consciousness, therefore, to enlighten all people who have been maddened by the influence of the three modes of material nature. You see, Prabhupada's usage of words. So, Prabhupada began this, his writing. The purpose of Krishna consciousness is to revive our original consciousness. Now, Prabhupada is explaining us how our consciousness right now is contaminated. And the purpose of this Hare Krishna movement or Society of ISKCON movement is to enlighten people, all the people who are maddened by the influence of three modes of material nature. We are maddened, means which are completely under the grip of material nature now. In other words, our aim is to awaken mankind to its normal condition. About this influence of material nature, Krishna further explains in Bhagavad Gita. He says, Tribhir gunamayer bhaver ebi sarvamidam jagat mohitam navijanati mamebhya paramavyayam. This is a verse from 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. It says that the material nature in the form of three modes of nature, as Sattva Guna, mode of goodness, Rajoguna, mode of passion, and Tamoguna as a mode of ignorance, is influencing each one of us. I'm just trying to explain what is material nature. Material nature is that energy of Krishna manifested as three modes. Three modes in three characteristic ways. The material nature is influencing our consciousness, our intelligence, our way of working, our actions, every aspect of our existence. We are influenced or we are colored by three modes. Right? So this is how material nature is working. Means even the body which we have got is the production of material nature. Three modes. Why there are different types of bodies? Because based on the living entity's association with a particular mode of nature, you'll get that type of body. And the body in the human form of life is supposed to be, better in Sattva Guna. But if we degrade our consciousness in this life by acting like an animal, like a cat or a dog, the next life, as per Krishna's direction, material nature will give us a body of a cat or a dog. Is considered to be body in the mode of ignorance, tamoguna. Just see. So material nature is completely under the control of Krishna, and she is awarding different results based on Krishna's order. That's the point. So the whole purpose of Krishna consciousness movement or the ISKCON movement, Hare Krishna movement, is to awaken mankind to its normal condition. Now Prabhupada explains the difference between what is animal's knowledge, what is man's knowledge. There are many universities, especially in the United States, and many departments of knowledge, but they are not discussing these points. Which points? That we are under the laws of material nature. We are right now, our consciousness is contaminated. We are spirit, soul. These aspects are not discussed. These points are not discussed. Where is the department for this knowledge that we find given by Shri Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita? Prabhupada is openly putting challenge. There is no department in any big university across the world which is discussing about this very important topic, which is concerning about us. When I spoke before some students and faculty members at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, one of the very reputed universities in the world. The first question I raised was, where is the technological department which is investigating the difference between a dead man and a living man? Right? Prabhupada was giving a lecture in MIT. This is the question he asked. Is there any department which can investigate the difference between living man and dead man? When a man dies, something is lost. Where is the technology to replace it? Why don't scientists try to solve this problem? Very challenging question Prabhupada has put before all of us. Right? When we all know person dies, we are all living. When some death happens, the body is lying there, but something is lost from the body. So we don't have a technology to replace it. When the best of the doctors, best of the medicine, best of the hospitals cannot do anything. Once he is dead, over. Right? So scientists should solve this problem, right? But rather they're trying to see how we can accelerate death by inventing so many ways and means in terms of the modern artillery or so many other things. Because this is a very difficult subject matter, they set it aside and busily engage in the technology of eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Very wonderful presentation Prabhupada is giving with regard to the modern day society's situation. Right? Because the university or any educational department is not able to answer these basic questions of life. Who am I? Why am I here? Why am I suffering like this? What is different influences I'm going through? Right? So we just brush it aside. No. Death, we have to die one day. No. Keep it aside. Right now, let us try to invent and find out, discover new ways of eating nicely, new recipes, new type of wonderful restaurants will have, eateries, how to eat nicely, how to sleep nicely, how to defend ourselves nicely, and how to mate. Mate means enjoying sex. That's what the whole subject matter of this world is. Only these 4 topics. Anything you analyze, this will come under one of these four subject matters in the whole world right now. And our life means just working to improve the standards of this eating, sleeping, mating, defending. So this is our life right now. However, the Vedic literatures inform us that this is animal technology. Animals also doing same thing. Ahara, nidra, bhaya, maithunam. Samanya metat pashubi naranam. Animals also are eating, sleeping, mating, defending. Humans also are doing the same thing. So Vedas say, no difference between you and animals. It's animal technology. Animals also are trying their best to eat well, to have an enjoyable sex life, to sleep peacefully, and to defend themselves. What then is the difference between man's knowledge and animal's knowledge? In our human life, we are trying to do these 4 things only in a very polished way. So what is the difference in that way between animals' way of living? Maybe they are doing it in a very crude way, in a very primitive way, animals. We are trying to do it in a more advanced way. So what is the difference? Actually, there's no difference. The fact is that man's knowledge should be developed to explore that difference between a living body and a dead body. A very important question we should have in our mind. What is the difference between a living body and dead body? What is that spark or light or energy which was there in this body is not there now? Right? So our knowledge man's knowledge should be used to understand these things, explore these things. So Prabhupada now comes to the point of explaining what is soul's perception, what is the soul and how do you perceive the soul. That spiritual knowledge was imparted by Krishna to Arjuna in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita. Right? So man is supposed to inquire about spiritual understanding, Brahma Jignasa. Brahma Jignasa means I'm not this body, I'm something different. My requirement is spiritual. Right? So this spiritual understanding, this spiritual knowledge, spiritual Spirit means it is not matter. It is ever existing. It is full of knowledge. It is full of bliss. That is called spiritual, Satchidananda. So this spiritual knowledge was imparted by Krishna to Arjuna from the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, very beginning. That's how Bhagavad Gita, his whole knowledge is so important, so vital. Being a friend of Krishna's, Arjuna was a very intelligent man, but his knowledge, as all men's, was limited. Actually, Arjuna was posing himself as like one of us. Arjuna's position is spiritual in one sense, but he was playing a part so that we all can be benefited. Just like in a drama, one person plays the role of a teacher, one more person plays the role of a student for the benefit of giving some message to that particular drama. Likewise, Krishna and Arjuna, both are spiritual, but one's position is what? Krishna is God and Arjuna is nice devotee of Krishna. So Arjuna played the part of an unintelligent man, right? Showing as though he is not aware. But he was aware, just for our benefit, he was asking questions. When Krishna spoke, however, of subject matters which were beyond Arjuna's finite knowledge. So Arjuna, even though he is a devotee of Krishna, his position is what? Subordinate. As a devotee. That's what Arjuna wonderfully demonstrated that in Bhagavad Gita. Right? So Krishna spoke of many subject matters which are beyond the range of understanding of Arjuna. They are called inconceivable. These subjects are called adhokshaja because our direct perception by which we acquire material knowledge fails to approach them. Right? Very wonderful explanation Prabhupada is giving. The subject matters which Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita is called adhokshaja. Means akshaja means that knowledge which we're able to perceive with our senses directly. That which is beyond our perception, our conception, that is called adhokshaja or transcendental. For example, we have many powerful microscopes to see what we cannot see with our limited vision. So there are some instruments which can help us to identify, detect things which is beyond our limited sense perception, like microscope. But there is no microscope that can show us the soul within the body. Nevertheless, the soul is there. It's very wonderful sort of a presentation Prabhupada is making. Yes, there are very advanced machines, many advanced equipments we have, which can detect and identify, just like we go to a hospital. So many tests the doctor prescribes for we have some disease, some health problem. Right? You do this blood test, you do liver test, you do that test. Now the list of tests. Because ordinarily, ordinarily with the simple investigation, the doctor may not be able to detect some symptoms, some reasons, rather some aspects. Maybe you're having some symptom you're expressing, but to verify that symptom and to further know what is actually the problem, you have to go through some investigations, right? So likewise, we have very advanced way of detecting, identifying what is the problem with regard to health or any aspects. Wonderful gadgets we have. But there is no such microscope or any equipment which can detect the presence of the soul. Just like a living body, we are all conscious and we are aware. But as soon as this body is not working, is there any instrument to identify what is that lacking in this body? How that soul in the body left this body? There's no such instrument. In fact, in our previous book discussion, Science of Self-Realization, a doctor in Vancouver, Canada, he had done a research of a near-death experience of a person. Right? He had all the equipments arranged and was trying to identify, okay, this person is about to die. Let us see what happens Is there some energy coming out of this person from his body at the point of death? But no instrument could detect. Right? That's why spirit soul, situation of spirit soul and its existence, it is achintya. It is beyond our perception, beyond our chintana, beyond our conceptions. Right? It's achintya. So there's no modern equipment or any technology which can identify soul within the body. But soul is there. All of us know. So then the question comes, who am I then? What am I? The Bhagavad Gita informs us that in this body, there is a proprietor. It says that we are all spirit souls. We are actually Dehi. And Deha is only an instrument for us. I am the proprietor of my body, and other souls are proprietors of their bodies. I say my hand, but not I hand. It is my hand. I am different from the hand being its owner. Right? I hand, my hand or my legs, my head. Similarly, we speak of my eye, my leg, my this, my that, my body. In the midst of all these objects which belong to me, where am I? It's mine, mine, mine. That person who's telling this is mine, all the body, different parts, where is he? The search for the answer is to this question is the process of meditation. So meditation is basically to search for this important question of who am I? What am I? In real meditation, we ask, where am I? What am I? We cannot find the answers to these questions by any material effort. And because of this, all the universities are setting these questions aside. Such an important question, which we cannot get answers. And even the most advanced, up-to-date universities in the present context will not touch upon this subject matter because they can't find answers. They say it is too difficult a subject, or they brush it aside by telling it is irrelevant. That is the way people are trying to address this problem. So Prabhupada now brings a very wonderful concept known as horseless carriages, and wingless birds. Thus, engineers direct their attention to creating and attempting to perfect the horseless carriage and wingless birds. So this point Prabhupada is trying to is mentioning here to make us understand how we are not trying to ask the important, relevant questions of our existence, of our life. Who am I? Why am I here? What is the purpose of my life? These questions, to find answers for these questions, nobody is trying to endeavor. Why? Because it's very difficult. So let us do something which let us engage ourselves with some things. So the scientists, engineers, or whatever will try to do so many things, which is not asking about why am I dying? I want to live eternally. How can I become deathless? These questions are set aside, brushed aside, as Prabhupada says. It's really irrelevant now. Oh, now life is going full swing. We have to discover that. We have to do this, that planning we should do. This planning we should do. In coming future, India should become developed nation. Let us work towards that. But you yourself will not be there when India is developed. Right? That is the point. So thing is, we are busy ourselves, or we have become ourselves busy with so many activities. As Prahlad Maharaj says in Bhagavata, Maya Sukhaya Bharamudvahato Vimudhan. Says Prahlada says to Lord Narasimha, my Lord, I am not worried about myself because I am completely absorbed in your service, but I am very much concerned about these humans who have become averse to your service because they are so much absorbed in Maya Sukha, illusory happiness, as though this is everything in life. Right? Advancement in science, technology, advancement in material comforts, advancement in infrastructure. Like this, people think this is purpose of life. Misled. What is required for life, let us do, but not that is everything in life. The main purpose of life, athato brahma jignasa, means now that you have got human form of life, inquire who you are, why are you here, what is the purpose of life. That's the point. So, Prabhupada is presenting a very nice concept here. This modern day education or the modern day setup of seeing things, everything is that we are diverting our attention to what? Attempting to perfect horseless carriage and wingless bird. Formerly, horses were drawing carriages and there was no air pollution. But now there are cars and airplanes, and the scientists are very proud. They're all very proud. Oh, we advanced. Now we're going to have, now it is car with a driver. Now we'll have driverless cars. Or we'll have cars that can fly. So many things. People are only thinking and trying to discover, invent things which is something, oh, we have done this, we have done that. That way. They invented horseless carriages and wingless birds, they boast. See how much advanced we have. Basically, Prabhupada is indirectly, is making comment here, very in ironical way. How there are horses, right, which is able to give you a good facility of transport, and there are birds with wings which can fly higher. What is that big thing you have done? Oh, I have discovered horseless carriages and wingless birds. Although Prabhupada says they invent imitation wings for the airplane, they cannot invent a soulless body. Right? You can say, oh, I have invented wingless bird or the aeroplane. Like bird, we are able to fly. Okay, Prabhupada challenges. Why don't you invent a soulless body? People are trying to say, oh, we are going to come up with artificial intelligence, with robots. But robot also requires one person to operate it. No? Somebody would have created a robot to operate finally. When they're able to do this, they will deserve credit. Right? People are very proud of having robotics, artificial intelligence, but all is only when spirit soul is behind that action. But such an attempt would necessarily be frustrated, for we know that there is no machine that can work without a spirit soul behind it. Even the most complicated computers need trained men to handle them. It's a fact. Right? Similarly, we should know that this great machine, known as the cosmic manifestation, is manipulated by a supreme spirit, that is Krishna. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, I am the one who is directing, manipulating, controlling this material nature, this material world. So we will conclude here. We will continue our discussions in the next session. So this is because some more things Prabhupada says in this whole topic. So the subject matter was the unseen controller. Krishna keeps himself unseen. This is the reason which we'll discuss in the next session. But right now we understood what is our situation in the material world, what is this material nature around us, and how it is being controlled by Krishna, and how we have become so absorbed in the activities of material world, forgetting our real purpose in life. Right? That much we have discussed today. Fine. I'll conclude here. Anybody wants to ask, discuss, comment, we can take up. Yes, Gupta ji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Today's lecture reminds me what we studied in chapter 9.
Okay. Yes. Bhagavad Gita, right? Yes.
Yes.
It's 9th chapter only verse, Maya Dekshana Prakriti.
Yes.
Natures working under Krishna's direction.
But it is nice to listen these things again and again from different sources.
Very much.
Yeah,
very
today's lecture, today's session has given new insight,
yes.
about material energy and being controlled by God Krishna. So otherwise, we generally think Maya or Prakriti is independent.
Exactly. It is how Prabhupada's presentation is. He presents the
Yeah.
same topic from different
Yes, yes.
angles of vision,
Yeah.
from different
Though, yeah.
perspectives. Mm.
Though it is known that Maya was
Yes.
created by Lord
Mm.
by using his divine power.
Yes. Hearing them from a different perspective will
Yeah.
solidify your understanding of what we already know
No,
in
yes.
a proper, concrete way.
That's
Otherwise,
true.
things, it is not very, very solidly sitting in our consciousness. So
That's
hearing them
right.
again and again from different points of view, different angles of
Yes.
vision, will further make it very firm and concrete.
Yeah. The another thing, say we generally hear Tat Tvam Asi.
Tattvamasi, yeah. Mm.
So that also has been said today.
Yes, Tattvamasi means we are that, but what are that? What is that? I'm not his body, I'm spirit, soul.
That's right. That's
Very
right.
good. Thank you.
Very
Yes,
interesting.
you have any
Thank
questions? Any?
No, wonderful, sir. Absolutely crystal clear, almost like alam beings put into muddy waters. Your description.
These are Prabhupada's words only. I'm just repeating it.
Yeah. But it was very wonderful and very balming to the soul.
Yes, very. So, like this, Prabhupada's books are very, very simple and nice to understand, and it gives a whole new realm of understanding in our present situation, wherein we are all going in
True.
one type of consciousness, right? Going on in our life in one consciousness. We have to, lift ourselves to a transcendental consciousness. Right now, Prabhupada says we're in material consciousness. Material consciousness means it may be sensual, it may be mental, it may be intellectual. This is one platform. Prabhupada says we have to transcend and come to spiritual or the transcendental consciousness called Krishna consciousness.
you.
Right? That is what the recommendation Prabhupada is trying to make us today. The whole purpose of Krishna conscious movement is to transform the present consciousness of living entities to Krishna consciousness. Elevate. That's the idea. Fine. Thank you
Wonderful.
everybody for participating in this wonderful session. We'll continue our discussion in the next session and conclude. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Radhe
Hare
Radhe.
Radhe.